Good evening and welcome, everyone. It's time to call this regular meeting of the San Felipe Del Rio CISD Board of Trustees to order, today being Monday, September 15th, 2025. Mr. Secretary, would you call roll for us?
Yes, sir. Mrs. Chavez?
Present.
Mr. Almaraz?
Present.
Mr. Overfeld?
Here.
Mr. Mesa?
Here.
Mrs. Webb?
Present.
Mrs. Haynes?
Here.
Sir, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Let the record show that we do have a quorum of board members and that this meeting was duly called in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. This time we will have, first of all, a moment of silence for personal reflection and also to reflect. We had a longtime coach, Mr. Rudy Rodriguez, that passed. He worked for a number of years in our district, so in remembrance, we'll have a moment of silence, and then we'll follow with a Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. First item we have a citizen that signed up to have a comment. Again, in accordance with the law, we'll hear the comment and we do not respond, but we will take that into consideration. Again, we will allow you 3 minutes to speak. We have Alejandra Lopez. The topic will be school bond proposal. At this time, if you could come to the podium. Welcome.
Thank you. Okay, first of all, thank you for your time. I know you work really hard. Right now I come and speak as a mother, as a teacher, and a lifelong Del Rio resident. And as a taxpayer and citizen, I believe it is important that our voices are heard and how our money is invested in what we believe is the best for our children. So although I'm really grateful for the presence of the Laughlin Air Force Base in our community, I believe our local schools should take priority over the Roberto Bobby Barrera Elementary campus. So I understand you have applied for grants for 3 years to support building a campus there, which is why it's been included on the proposed bond. However, as a local parent whose children do not benefit from programs like the STEM, I already feel that this bond does not serve them fully. It saddens me to see the base school receiving awards for academic accomplishments, while many of our local campuses struggle with overcrowding and limited resources. I do not agree with much of the bond as it stands. I asked you to hear from a local parent's perspective who is raising future leaders who will eventually be back or stay in Del Rio. Too often, those who benefit from the base school are military families who move on. That's why I don't agree with that part of the bond. Our schools could also benefit from a greater access to resources, updated curriculum, and the tools our children need to truly succeed. That is what will help those close the gaps we see every day. So I just ask you, have you attended our schools lately? Have you sat next to these kids? I've noticed and recognized that many of the kids struggle to think critically or even read at third grade level. I ask, how can we use these bonds not only to update buildings, but to empower our students academically so they are prepared for the future? We recently lost in elementary school, and while many of us had concerns, we did not voice them strongly enough. Now my children's elementary campus has over 700 students. This bond, rather than addressing that problem, seems to prepare our kids for even more overcrowded schools. Yes, campus updates are important, but instead of focusing on preserving mascots or issues of segregation, which I feel my generation has moved past that, why not create smaller, modern campuses that give our children the resources and spaces they need to succeed? And most importantly, I hope I see a second high school for our community so that my children and their peers are not forced into overfilled classrooms but are given a real chance to learn, thrive, and grow in an environment designed for them. Your proposed plan spans about 4 years, which is around the time my children will enter high school. I do not care so much about preserving tradition for tradition's sake. I care about building a future that encourages a rising generation of deep thinkers and problem solvers. I speak not only for myself, but for many parents who may not realize they have a voice in this process. Our children deserve more than temporary fixes. They deserve investment in our growing city that should be moving forward, not relying on borrowed money for just more Band-Aids on aging campuses. So I respectfully ask that you view this bond from the perspective of a new generation, one that sees Del Rio with different eyes and hopes for a stronger future for our children. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is item 8, reports. First, facilities and construction updates. Mr. Hector Chapa.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, members of the board. Tonight's presentation will provide an update on the 3 ongoing projects. First, the fencing for San Felipe Memorial Middle School, as well as Cody Warlock Gym. The contractor has fulfilled their obligations for the original work that included the playground area here adjacent to the Cody Warlock, as well as the driveway out towards Martin Street. They're currently on site with starting the additional work, that change order work that was authorized by the board a few months ago. The practice fields, Memorial Middle School, the turf is laid, as well as the sand for the weight. Tomorrow, they're supposed to put the infill and proceed to finishing out later on this week. For Garfield, the project is basically finished. We have a walkthrough scheduled for tomorrow as a final inspection. And the last project we had was the Garfield Middle School Fine Arts renovation area. The choir room, which is room 521, and classrooms 523 and 525 were converted to the band room for classes. That included a new acoustical ceiling tiles, new flooring, which carpet tile, as well as acoustical panels to deaden the sound. That project has been complete. However, this morning, additional work was notified to this department. That concludes the portion of the projects. Going on to the work orders. The previous,
Let
sorry.
me ask if there's any questions regard to construction projects. So, Mr. Chapa, I just have one.
Yes, sir.
I believe they were going to do another door in one of the rooms. Did that material come in?
I'm sorry, that's scheduled to be done on this coming Monday, the RTI day. The set of double doors for the band was ordered, didn't come in time. It arrived already. We have it in our warehouse. So it was scheduled to be installed on Monday, and that's when it will be completely done.
Okay, so the electrical work that was in place there, that's been moved?
All that, it's already completed.
Okay, great.
And as a matter of fact, it's being used as of Friday.
Okay, wonderful. Okay.
Work orders for the maintenance department in the previous 90 days, 1,265 tickets were created. 949 were closed, 75%. For 0 to 15 days, 69% were completed. 16 to 30 days, 77% were completed. 31 to 60 days, 79% completed, and 61 to 90 days, 73% were completed. Those lower percentage rates are reflected of the work that was ongoing at Garfield Fine Arts renovation. Technology department, the previous 90 days, 4,548 tickets were received, 4,221 were closed, 98% completion rate. 0 to 15 days, 78%. 16 to 30 days, 93%. 31 to 60 days, 98%. And 61 to 90 days, 98%. Transportation department, previous 90 days, 146 tickets were created, 128 were closed for a percentage of 88%. 0 to 15 was 87%. 16 to 30 days, 78%. 31 to 60 days, 85%. And 61 to 90 days, 96%.
Questions for Mr. Chapa? So, Mr. Chapa, when do we expect the Fine Arts Garfield completion?
So on Monday, the 22nd, the RTI day, we'll install the double doors. However, this morning, Dr. Rios and I did a final inspection, and a little bit more work was added to our plate. So the common wall between the choir room and the band classrooms, we did not include any acoustical treatment on the walls. So that's been added to our plate.
Okay,
So we have to do another order of that material.
okay. Just because of the employees that we're utilizing there, I think the numbers, as you mentioned, are kind of low in regard
sir.
to maintenance. Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, next item we have is reports, outcome bonuses. Dr. Rios?
Yes, sir. Ms. Childers is going to make the presentation.
Okay.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. This evening, I will be doing a presentation on our college, career, or military outcomes bonus. The College and Career or Military, otherwise known as the CCMR Outcomes Bonus, is awarded annually for achieving a percentage threshold of graduates demonstrating college, career, or military readiness across 3 specific student groups. The district receives $5,000 if the annual graduate is economically disadvantaged, $3,000 if the annual graduate is not economically disadvantaged, and $4,000 if the graduate is enrolled in a special education program, regardless of whether they are economically disadvantaged. There are 3 criteria that the district receives credit for. The first is the college ready. The criteria for that is that the student earns an associate degree or meets the ACT, SAT, or the Texas Success Initiative college readiness criteria and enrolls at a post-secondary institution after high school. To receive career ready, they must meet, again, the ACT, SAT, or the TSI college readiness and earn an industry-based certification or a level 1 or 2 certificate. And then for military ready, they must enlist in the armed forces of the United States or the Texas National Guard. This past year, the San Felipe Del Rio CISD received graduates with an associate degree was at 8.4%, which was well above the state average of 2.5%. And graduates with a level 1 or level 2 certificate for the district was at 8.6%, again, higher than the state percentage of 0.8%. So for the 2024 graduates, we had 59 who were considered economically disadvantaged graduates that met above the threshold, compared to 28 in 2023. We had 33 non-economically disadvantaged graduates above the state threshold, compared to 35 in 2023. We had 2 special ed graduates above the threshold, compared to 0 in 2023, resulting in the district receiving a total of $402,000 for our CCMR outcome bonuses in comparison to their 2023 graduates, where we earned $245,000. This is a $157,000 increase to our CCMR outcomes bonus, and it is part of our general fund balance, and it is used to be reinvested into the innovative programs.
It's such a wonderful thing that that has happened because, again, when we surpass the state average, it means a whole lot. And of course, we have, I get an echo here. Every time that we add a course, it's wonderful because we're pretty much adding another certification. And whether it's a level 1 or level 2, these students are ready to pay for their own college pretty much, start working immediately and be able to support themselves or go on to pay their tuition in the college. I just want to say thank you to everyone. I'll pass it on to board members. Any want to comment? Just want to say thank you to everyone, especially early college, high school, but it involves everyone down below as well, the middle school all the way to high school, by promoting, again, already realizing, what the student is focusing on for a career, and, whether it's a level 1 or level 2, or whether it's military, I applaud all the efforts from everyone involved because it's a tremendous assistance to us with these bonuses that we get to have some creative programs and go on for a better future. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item we have is a consent agenda. There's plenty of items on the consent agenda. The donations will be posted, already posted in social media. Again, we thank everyone that donated to individuals, organizations. As always, we appreciate every help that we can get from organizations and individuals and businesses throughout our community. We support, again, all of you for helping us with the donations you have made. If there's any item that needs to be pulled from the consent agenda, would you please designate? Dr. Rios, is there a question?
Yes, sir. We would like to take item F8. And we'd like to table that till after closed session, sir.
Okay. Did everyone understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Any questions?
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Rickfeld?
Just information for F1 on the purchase of the Chromebooks. Once approved, do we have an idea of how quickly the turnaround time will be to when we will have those in our possession, processed, and out to the schools?
We'll have Mr. Salinas respond to that, sir. He's been working with the vendors.
Good evening. The vendor has them already in stock. It's just a matter of the PO being processed, so about maybe 2 weeks for lead time of shipment. And then by the time we get them, it'll probably be about another 2 weeks to get them processed from fixed assets to the classroom. So they gotta be barcoded and all that kind of stuff, so that's probably the longer part. So
Okay.
maybe about a month or so.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Am I understanding that these are Chromebooks that have been either damaged or lost? And
Correct.
so it's not a huge number.
Right. No, they're the one's been damaged and extras for the additional for the classroom or students for the extra right in the classrooms.
Okay,
Yeah, they're replacements.
all right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other item that needs to be pulled out or more information on? Hearing none, then is there a motion to approve the consent agendas? Motion by Mr. Galindo. Is there a second to the motion? Okay, Mr. Diego Almaraz.
As, sorry,
Yes.
just for information, as, motion to approve with the as discussed for tabling.
There's one item that will be pulled out, item F8.
Yes.
Yes.
All righty.
And there's some minutes also of some meetings, and so I just want to make sure if any corrections need to be made. But if not, yes, item F8 will be pulled for consideration at a later time. So there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Go on to administration, item 10A, consideration to approve first and final reading of TASB Policy Manual Update 125, Part 2, affecting policies EI local, academic achievement, FDE local, admissions, school safety, transfers, FEC local, attendance, attendance for credit, and FFAC local, wellness and health services, medical treatment. Sandra Hernandez.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. The district's Board Policy Review Committee met on Tuesday, August the 9th, 2025, to review these policies. The recommended revisions to EI, local, academic achievement, include recommended change of text at partial credit, replacing the phrase combined grade 4 with the terms average of, to more accurately reflect the determination of awarding credit when a student earns a passing grade in only half of a course. At FDE local, bullying is recommended for inclusion as an offense for which the district must collect and maintain data. The revision aligns with the Unsafe School Choice Option Guidance Handbook. The revisions throughout the FEC local policy regarding attendance for credit are recommended for clarity and readability. Excuse me. Rather than directing the board to establish attendance committee, the policy now authorizes the establishment of those committees by the campus administration or by administration. The revisions to the policy on wellness and health services, medical treatment at FFAC local, includes revision to the administrative code and including the requirement for written notifications to parents after the administration of an unassigned respiratory distress medication. Are there any questions?
Questions from board members? Again, this has gone through a policy committee, so,
And this was, sorry,
Sorfeld?
this was the one that we did last Tuesday, the 9th
Correct,
of
sir.
September? Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, no further questions. You want to read the recommendation, please?
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the first and final reading of TASB Localized Policy Manual Update 125. This is the second part, affecting policies EI local, academic achievement, FDE local, admissions, school safety transfers, FEC local, attendance, attendance for credit, and FFAC local, wellness and health services, medical treatment as presented.
Heard the recommendation from administration. There's a motion by Amy Haynes, seconded by Mrs. Webb. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Item 10B, consideration to approve first reading of EFB local instructional resources, library materials. Sandra Hernandez.
Good evening once again, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. This policy that is being brought forward is a result of Senate Bill 13. The policy has been updated and passed by the 89th Texas Legislature. So there's new text that clarifies the parent's ability to access information related to library books accessed by their children. And it also explains the process for recommendation and procurement of library materials. And it explains the process for donated library material as well.
Any questions for Sandra? Hearing no questions, would you read the recommendation?
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the first reading of EFB Local Instructional Resources Library Materials as presented.
Read the recommendation. There's a motion by Becky Chavez. Is there a second to the motion? Mr. Alindo? All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item 10C, consideration to approve a resolution of the board regarding Senate Bill 12 and it should be parental rights, parent rights. And Sandra, I can read this. Okay.
Yes.
Senate Bill 12 from the 89th Legislative Session relates to parental rights in public education, including requirements and prohibitions regarding instruction, diversity, equity, and inclusion, duties and assistance with district student, social, transitioning, and student clubs. The board resolution resolves that while the Senate Bill 12 becomes effective on September 1st, 2025, the district will act to adapt and adopt all policies relating to matters in Senate Bill 12 as soon as practicable, but after the effective date, because it's already past the September 1st. And if you have any questions prior to us adopting, you should have asked by now, but this, again, comes from Senate Bill 12. It's a long resolution that involves so many parental rights, but we're going to abide by this, by having this resolution, that we will abide by everything that is on that resolution concerning parental rights. Is there any questions? Are there any questions?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Orfeld.
So I know Senate Bill 12 and everything that's in it there, as you said, it's called the Parental Right Bill in public education. But since it has been signed and it went into effect on September 1, I guess I'm just confused on the issue of why do we need to issue a resolution saying we're going to follow the law. I mean, there's a bunch of resolutions, Senate bill, or House bill, the one with the cell phones. What was House bill? What was the House bill on cell phone named?
14.
House Bill 14 something.
Yes.
All right. So I mean that became law effective the first day of school. So we didn't pass a resolution saying, okay, we're going to do that with the cell phones. We're going to make sure that we're following the law on the cell phones. So I'm just curious to satisfy my own curiosity as to why we need to issue a resolution saying we'll follow this one, but we haven't issued resolutions on any of the other stuff the legislature passed that has gone into session this far. Not that I disagree with anything that's on the page. I'm just curious as to why this one requires a resolution and why House Bill 14XX with cell phones didn't require one.
Dr. Rios?
Mr. Mesa, members of the board, a lot of the items that came out of the legislative session were addressed in the student handbook that we brought forth. So a lot of that is already addressed there. Some will be addressed in just regulations, and then there are some that the board is going to have to take action on, and we haven't gotten guidance from TASB. So the resolution is just a statement from the board that we understand that there's a spirit of the law that we're going to do our best efforts to meet between now and the time that TASB provides more guidance.
If I may also, the Chapter 37, the cell phone policy falls under Chapter 37, and it fell in the Student Code of Conduct, which the board adopted last month.
Okay, I'm just curious, do we have a number of other districts in the state that have had to issue resolutions because of a bill that went into effect September 1? Do we know of any others offhand?
I am not aware, sir.
Okay, interesting. Okay,
Practically, what we're saying is we're going to abide by it, and we have been abiding by it since September 1st.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyone else? Is that okay with?
yeah, I was just curious. I just wanted to know the reasoning behind it. So yeah, we're good.
So it is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the first reading of EFB Local Instructional Resources Library Materials as presented, resolution of the board regarding Senate Bill 12 and parental rights.
So move.
Mr. Overfeld made a motion, seconded by Mr. Diego Almaraz. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go on to item 10D, consideration to approve an amendment to the District of Innovation, DOI local plan. Sandra Hernandez.
Good evening once again. In accordance with the Education Code 12A 007, a local innovation plan may be amended, rescinded, or renewed if the action is approved by a vote of the district level committee established under section 11251. During the District of Innovation Advisory Committee meeting held on September the 10th, 2025, the committee approved an amendment to the local innovation plan that proposes the addition of an exemption to the Education Code 25.112 class size and Education Code 25.113 notice of class size. The district fully intends to continue its practice of maintaining reasonable class sizes in pre-kindergarten through grade 4. However, allowing flexibility from these statutes would allow the district and campus leadership to make reasonable decisions when the class size in classrooms in pre-K through 4 exceeds the 22-to-1 ratio, and when a qualified teacher is not available for hire. The administration will continue to consider the timing of the school year, the available space, and the need for another teacher to ensure that the decisions regarding class size continue to be made in the best interest of students.
Dr. Rios?
Yeah, I just want to make a point that the district will continue to budget for teachers at 22-to-1 in pre-K through fourth grade. This is not about saving money, and it's not about having enough classrooms. For example, on a Friday, we discussed Lamar Elementary, and in one of the grade levels, they needed another teacher. And there was a certified teacher available, so we hired her on Friday. The district will continue to budget at 22-to-1, but it does not make sense that because we get to 23-to-1, that we hire a non-certified teacher. The learning does not happen when you have uncertified teachers. And Del Rio is no different than the state of Texas. There is a shortage of certified teachers. Right now, we're lucky that all of the teachers at the elementary level have some form of certification. And we were also lucky that there was an applicant available for Lamar that was also certified. So it is not about saving money. It is not about having enough space. It is simply about having students be taught by certified teachers whenever possible.
Just to keep in mind, again, special needs students and bilingual students, including the ones, and I'm glad that I got a number on the number of denials, because these students are, in actuality, bilingual students. They didn't want to go into the program, but yet they're struggling. So just to keep in mind, that we do not have classrooms that involve, again, a large number, because sometimes we end up with, I know, Dr. Rios, you have already mentioned that there was an issue with one of the classrooms that had a large number of special needs, and so there was going to be some adjustment made in regard to that, especially when we go over the 22 to 1.
Yes, sir.
So does everyone understand the change to the District of Innovation? We are increasing the number?
Right, just have a question.
Yes, Mr. Orfeld.
So the amendment, which I take to be Innovation Plan Exemption 3, class size and notice of class size, that's going to directly relate to item 14D later on?
We're going to table it if this passes.
Okay. So, as was alluded to or mentioned right now, we know that we have there's a classroom at a particular campus that has several behavioral issue kiddos and some other in there. So the idea is that approving the amendment will allow us to fix that issue there, is kind of what was said, or we're going to look at that later on?
We fix the issue with or without the amendment. The amendment just keeps us from having to file a waiver every time a class goes to 23 to 1, because 30 days after the class exceeds 22 to 1, we have to file a waiver with TEA. This way, we might have 3 rooms that are at 23 to 1 instead of 22 to 1. But again, it's much more desirable, in my opinion, to have 23 to 1 and the teachers are certified versus 19 to 1 if we throw an uncertified teacher in the mix.
Okay.
But whenever available, we will hire the certified teacher.
Okay.
Just on the class size, does it change does anything change if there's a class size that's 24 to 1 or 25 to 1 or 26, or is it just specifically 23 to 1? For other classes that aren't 23 to 1, you might have one that's 24 or 25.
Fifth grade, you're allowed to go 25 to 1 over. Okay. We don't want the classrooms at 25 to 1, and we'll do our best to not let them get to that as long as a certified teacher is available. We won't let them go to 26. That's what was happening at Lamar, because we did have students register late. I think our registration numbers increased by 50 students over the last, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So the numbers grew, and we immediately hired a teacher.
I believe Becky had a question.
My concern is the kinder in a certain classroom that has, it's the majority bilingual, and it has 25 students. So do we not want to reduce that specifically because it's bilingual and they need a lot of help even at the point of kinder, and that's the beginning of their education. And also it has special needs that needs special care, and it's combined all in one classroom. Am I making sense in this? I mean,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
are we going to correct that? Is there something that can be done to
Yes,
correct
ma'am.
that situation?
Yes, ma'am. When we have those situations, We do provide instructional aids to lighten the load on the teacher while we find a certified teacher.
While we find,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Galindo?
Just a continuation of that. So say you do run into the Lamar situation and you have 24 to 25 in 3 or 4 classrooms and you're basically 12 over. What would then be the solution for that? Say you continue through the year and we're not able to get a certified teacher. Would the thought now be to get an uncertified teacher to help with some of that relief? Or what would a practical scenario be or the outcome for that, just to kind of get an understanding of how all this is working? Because it either can happen or it has happened, just to understand that when these overages happen, what would be the immediate thought to try to give some release to the staff?
Again, the immediate relief has to come in the form of an aid, because aids are available. We love to hire retired teachers. As a matter of fact, I think today they brought me a recommendation for a retired teacher. So we'll explore every avenue, but having a long-term sub is not the answer. And I wish that I could just say, no, we'll hire a teacher, but if one isn't available, there's not much we can do about it. You know, we are being as supportive as we can in helping teachers get certified. Right now, I think the numbers are manageable in the bilingual classrooms and in the kindergarten classrooms. We do try to provide instructional aids. I think they're manageable, and I think that a registration has probably just about reached its peak. So I think that we're going to be at 9,550 students. That's as high as we're going to get. So I don't expect that the numbers will get much higher. And HR is always looking for teachers to hire. They are budgeted for. There are classrooms available. There are desks available. We just need to have the certified individuals. So we'll keep recruiting. We'll keep supporting teachers to get certified. But I just don't believe in putting an uncertified teacher, or I shouldn't say an uncertified teacher, because maybe there is a teacher who tried to get certified and had 3 successful years of teaching and didn't get certified. In those rare occasions, you know, somebody that has that kind of experience, we continue to help them get certified, and they may be a solution. So we're not closing the door 100% on everybody. Right now, we just happen to be in a situation where everybody's certified. But we won't close the door on somebody who's had teaching experience but just hasn't been able to get certified. But it has to be an occasion where we know that teacher has been successful.
So we'll make a plea to principals. If you have a situation where a teacher has an overload of students and they're having issues with either behavioral problems or a student that is consuming a large portion of the instructional time, if you could bring that up so we can remediate that before, not too long. If you could do that for us, they can make some adjustments somewhere.
And Mr. Ressa, the classroom size is important to everybody. So, teachers, email your principals when you feel like things are anywhere close to needing some intervention, and feel free to copy Mr. Barrera, Ms. Villarreal, and myself so that we're all in the conversation. There are not that many classrooms throughout the district where we're going to get to that point where we're going to get overwhelmed by emails. So please feel free, if your classroom, if you think that the information didn't make it to anybody, please feel free to email your teacher, copy Mr. Barrera, copy Jane Villarreal, copy myself. It won't be that many emails.
Okay. Anyone else? We're good? I'll read the recommendation, please.
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the amendment to the District of Innovation Local Plan as presented.
For the recommendation, I'll entertain a motion for approval. Ms. Webb make the motion, seconded by Becky Chavez. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, item 10E, consideration to approve the nomination and appointment of the San Felipe Del Rio CISD representatives to the Val Verde County Appraisal District Board of Directors. Sandra Hernandez.
Yes, sir. In accordance with the Texas Tax Code 6.03A and CCH Legal, appraisal districts are governed by a board of directors. In Val Verde County, the taxing units that participate in the district as provided by this section appoint 5 directors. So in accordance with this tax code, our school district appoints 4 directors on the Val Verde County Appraisal District Board of Directors. Currently, Mr. Ramiro Guzman, Dr. Leonel Chavez, Mr. Rene Garza, and Mr. Stephen Webb serve on this board. However, this board is set to expire December 31st, 2025. So what we're bringing forward is that the representatives have agreed to continue to serve except for one. Dr. Chavez has opted not to serve another year, yet has shared that he is very grateful to have represented the school district during his tenure. A nomination for Mr. Roy Muskis Jr. has been brought forth for consideration to replace Dr. Chavez's position. So the recommendation is going to be to approve all of the 4 directors so that we can continue with the new term.
Questions for Sandra? None? No questions? I'm going to read the recommendation.
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the appointment of Mr. Ramiro Guzman, Mr. Rene Garza, Mr. Stephen Webb, and Mr. Roy Muskis Jr. to represent San Felipe Del Rio CISD on the Val Verde County Appraisal District Board of Directors and fill the position vacancy for the 2025-2026 term.
Heard the recommendation. Is there a motion for approval? Motion made by Amy Haynes, seconded by Mr. Galindo. All those in favor? Motion carries. Did X-ray?
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, sir.
Item 13, Business and Finance. Item A, consideration to approve the appraisal roll and tax collection certification by tax assessor collector Amy Childers.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. The chief appraiser of the Val Verde County Appraisal District has certified and submitted the appraisal roll as approved by the Appraisal Review Board for calendar year beginning January 1st, 2025 and ending December 31st, 2025, and has delivered it to Elodia Garcia, the tax assessor collector for the San Felipe Del Rio CISD. So you have in front of you that for the 2025 tax year, the adjustable tax value is $2,825,475,160. The chief appraiser has also provided a supplemental tax roll that reflects changes contingent on voter approval of Propositions 11 and 13 at the constitutional amendment election that will be held on November 4th, 2025. If those propositions pass, then the adjustable taxable value for the district will be $2,671,970,459. And you do have in front of you the signed letter from the tax assessor, Ms. Garcia.
Any questions for Amy? Hearing none. Do you want to read the recommendation?
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the district's certified appraisal rolls for tax year 2025 and the anticipated collection rate and total estimated amount collectible as presented.
Heard the recommendation. Is there a motion for approval? Motion made by Linda Webb. Second to the motion, Becky Chavez. All those in favor? Motion carries
Thank
unanimously.
you.
Item 13C, consideration to adopt the 2025-2026 ordinance setting the M&O tax rate and the INS tax rate. Amy Childress.
I apologize, we skipped one, should be the.
Is there one?
13B.
Oh, C, consideration, I'm sorry, to adopt the 2025-2026 ordinance setting the M&O and tax rate and the INS tax rate. Is that the one?
One more.
No, the one, no new revenue, sorry.
Okay. What am I? Oh, no, no, no. Okay, certified values. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Item B, consideration to approve the no new revenue tax rate and voter approval tax rate for tax year 2025. Amy Childress.
Good evening once again. So Section 26.04 of the Property Tax Code requires an officer of the district to calculate the no new revenue tax and the voter approval tax rate for the district. The no new revenue tax would impose the same total taxes as last year if applied to properties taxed in both years. The voter approval tax rate is the highest tax rate the school district can set before it must hold a voter approval tax rate election. So for the 2025 year, the district's no new revenue tax rate is 81.7991 cents. The 2025 voter approval tax rate is 93.6300 cents. And these are calculations that are mandated by the state.
Any questions for Amy? No questions? Going to read the recommendation, please.
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the no new revenue tax rate and voter approval tax rate for tax year 2025 as calculated.
With the recommendation, is there a motion for approval? Motion by Diego Almaraz. Is there a second to the motion? Second, Linda Webb. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Now on to item C, consideration to adopt the 2025-2026 ordinance setting the M&O and tax rate and the INS tax rate. Amy Childress.
Good evening once again. The 2025-26 maintenance and operations tax rate and the interest and sinking fund tax rates have been calculated. For the 2025-26 year, the maintenance and operations tax rate has been calculated at 74.8600 cents. And the interest and sinking tax rate, or INS tax rate, has been calculated at 18.77 cents for a total tax rate of 93.6300 cents. This is the same tax rate as the previous year, 24-25. So there, we have calculated no increase for the district tax rate for the 2025 tax year. Now, I'd also like to point out that when you read the recommendation, the motion that has to be read, it does mention that it's a property tax rate, effectively 14.46% increase in the tax rate. That is a statement that is required, but it is not comparing the actual tax rates for the district. It is comparing it to the no new revenue tax rate that we just adopted, which is why it's saying it's an increase. That no new revenue tax rate is the tax rate that has to be calculated if we were to collect the same amount of taxes that we collected last year with the new appraisal values. What would the tax rate be? That is the new no new revenue tax rate that is required by the state. That is what it is comparing it to. It is not comparing it to our actual tax rate from last year.
Okay. So does everyone understand that?
So the 817,911, it's a 14%
Would be a
increase to
14.
the 9363.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Actually, Mr. Mesa, I would need you to read the motion, please.
Yes. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the 2025-2026 ordinance setting the M&O tax rate and the INS tax rate. I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.936300, which is effectively a 14.46% increase in the tax rate. Is there a second to the motion? Mr. Orfeld seconded the motion. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Go on to item D, consideration to approve modification of the 2025-2026 general fund balance commitments. Amy Childers.
Good evening once again. The next item that's going to be brought forward to you is a purchase order and contract for Schneider, which has completed the development of the construction documents for the chiller replacement project at Del Rio Middle School. The overall project cost is $1,334,852. At this time, administration is asking to make an amendment to our committed funds in order to fund this project. The funds will come from the Stadium Light Project, which we had committed $810,000 for, actually came in under budget at $325,750, which leaves us with a remaining balance of $484,250 that we would like to apply to this chiller project. And then the remaining $850,602 we're asking to commit from the general fund balance.
Questions for Amy? Any questions? No? Okay. You want to read the recommendation? No questions.
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the modification of the 2025-2026 general fund balance commitments as discussed.
For the recommendation, is there a motion for approval? Motion made by Amy Haynes, seconded by Becky Chavez. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Item B, consideration to approve a contract over $5,000 and purchase order over $25,000 with Schneider Electric in the amount not to exceed $1.334 thousand, $852. $1,334,852. And this is funding source Fund 170 Operations Committed Funds for the removal and replacement of the chillers of the Del Rio Middle School. Hector Chapa.
Good evening once again, Mr. Mesa, Dr. Rios, members of the board. The existing chillers, two of them, Del Rio Middle School are original to the campus, which makes them approximately 23 years of age. However, these type of equipment have a service life of about 20 years. So we're already grateful that it exceeded by 3 years. One of them, the other one has been down for several months. So administration is requesting to replace both chillers with new Daikin McCoy chillers that Schneider Electric, through their subcontractor, will install and maintain with a guarantee service life of guarantee of service for 5 years. That includes not only the replacement of chillers, but the retrofit of the necessary piping, new backnet integration to our existing communications with the chillers, electrical upgrades, and so forth related to the chillers.
Questions for Mr. Chapa? Mr. Olindo?
For the chillers, just stay outline for the timeline and making sure it doesn't affect operations for Del Rio Middle School?
Yes, sir. The intent is, there's a lead time on these chillers of about 2-3 months. The intent is to either have them installed during the Thanksgiving break, if they're available, if not during the Christmas break.
Okay.
Anyone else? You want to read the recommendation, please?
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve a contract over $5,000 and a purchase over $25,000 and allow the superintendent to sign a contract with Schneider Electric in the amount not to exceed $1,334,852 for the chiller replacement project at Del Rio Middle School.
Heard the recommendation. Is there a motion for approval? Motion made by Mr. Galindo, seconded by Mr. Diego Almaraz. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go on to item 14, Human Resources. A, discussion, possible action to approve employee job descriptions and evaluation forms for journeyman electrician Amy Childress.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. This evening, administration is bringing a recommendation to update the job description and evaluation for the journeyman electrician.
Any questions for Amy? Hearing none, you want to go ahead and read the recommendation?
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the employee job descriptions, evaluation forms, and revised job classification schedule as discussed.
Thank you. You've heard the recommendation from administration. I'll entertain a motion for approval. Motion made by Mr. Diego Almaraz, is seconded by Linda Webb. All those in favor? Motion carries
Thank you.
unanimously. Item B, 14B, consideration to approve the conversion of a custodian to a groundskeeper. Amy Childress.
Good evening once again. At this time, we're requesting the approval to convert a custodian position that is currently it was budgeted but is not needed at this time, to a groundskeeper position.
Any questions for Amy? No questions? Recommendation?
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the conversion of a custodian to a groundskeeper.
Heard the recommendation. Is there a motion for approval? Motion made by Becky Chavez, seconded by Mr. Diego Almaraz. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item C, 14C, consideration to approve the updated 2025-2026 district compensation plan. Amy Childress.
Good evening. This evening, I have 3 updates to our district compensation plan. The first one is on page 298 under teacher stipends. For the CTE welding head coach stipend, we are adding an additional sponsor, so there will be 2 head coaching for welding. Then on page 300, under the supplemental stipends at the bottom, for early college high school, we are adding 2 sponsor stipends for the early college high school ambassador school sponsors. And then on page 302, under the part-time, extra duty, and temporary pay, we are asking to increase the student worker hourly pay from $7.25 to $10.
Questions for Amy? Amy, on the sponsors for student ambassadors, did we have these in the past? Were these something new?
I believe we have had them, they just were not
I'm
paid
sorry.
for it. Yeah.
Sure.
That's what it is.
We've had student ambassadors at CTE, and,
The sponsors.
well, we've had the sponsors through the programs that are stipend. For example, there's a welding sponsor, and they have an ambassador. But at CTE, at early college high school, there are no organizations, but there are sponsors because it's an organization within itself. So they just haven't been being compensated.
So this is new.
Yes.
That's all I was asking. Anyone else? Hearing none, want to read the recommendation?
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the updated 2025-2026 district compensation plans as presented.
Heard the recommendation. There's a motion by Mrs. Webb, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Table next item, sir.
Next item, 14D, consideration to approve the submission of the class size. We're going to table that one. And then we go on to item E, consideration to approve the interlocal agreement between San Felipe Del Rio CISD and Valverde Regional Medical Center, and approve the purchase order over $25,000 in the amount not to exceed $78,777.60. Funding source, general funds, employee benefits for the participation in the air ambulance and membership program. Amy Childress.
Yes, sir. Once again, would be a renewal of the interlocal agreement between the district and Valverde Regional Medical Center for participation in an air ambulance membership program to provide residents of Valverde County limited out-of-pocket responsibility for an air ambulance services originated within the county. The cost is the same as it was when it was initiated in 2016.
Questions for Amy? Amy, is there any way we can keep count as to how many employees actually benefit from this service?
I can request it from our insurance brokers.
I would like to have some kind of, at least, some benchmark.
Yes, sir.
And then, because this was an item that I had asked before, and I know that the county was in some situation in regard to questions about it, but just want to make sure it's beneficial. Dr. Rios?
Also, Ms. Childress, I believe that since we changed our insurance plan with a certain deductible, the benefit that whether it be our employees or community members, but particular employees, would now be higher because of the deductible that they now have to meet with the plan that we offer. So if we could look at that as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to have a little bit more information about that.
Yes, sir.
But that's, I understand. From what the information I had already inquired is that it is beneficial for everyone. Okay. Yeah, anyone else with a question? If not, we'll read the recommendation.
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the interlocal agreement between San Felipe Del Rio CISD and Valverde Regional Medical Center, and for Dr. Rios, Superintendent of Schools, to sign the interlocal agreement and approve the purchase order in the amount of $78,770.60 as presented.
Thank you very much. I'll entertain a motion for approval. Motion made by Mr. Overfeld, seconded by Mr. Diego Almaraz. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Item 16, security. A, consideration to approve the update to the San Felipe Del Rio CISD Multi-Hazard Emergency Operations Plan. Chief Foss.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, members of the board. The Texas Education Code requires school districts to develop, implement, and annually review the Multi-Hazard Emergency Operations Plan. The plan provides the framework that outlines the district's response to managing a crisis or an emergency incident. To meet the state-required actions, the Multi-Hazard Emergency Operation Plan has been reviewed and updated to meet the code requirements. Updates to the 25-26 EOP reflect changes to school administration assignments and includes the updates to the active threat annex.
So Chief Foss, a couple of questions. So when, like, for example, we're filling a position today for an assistant principal, would that be updated as soon as it becomes, reality? We have a vacancy, Ruben Chavira mentioned.
So the updates are only for the principals, and if there is a change, it won't be updated till the following year.
Okay. So in the event, Dr. Rios, that, let's say that the principal's out of town, we do have that information in there where it would go on to the assistant.
Yes, Mr. Mesa. We make sure that the assistant principals get the same training as the principals do. The plan that we have to provide for the state only includes the principal. Like, for example, Chief Vaz and Mr. Barrera went and visited with 3 new principals to make sure that they understood all of the procedures. When we hire principals or assistant principals, in this case, we would do the same for them to make sure that they know how to act and how to lead the campus should there be a tragedy. It's just that the written copy, we're not required to update it except once a year.
Okay, as long as, but I'm always concerned with, the movement of principals from one campus to another, and then, to make sure that if it, the procedures are different at every campus because of, the situation in regard to relocation or unification, and I'm saying, for example, middle school, where, you have limited entrances, exits, and so forth, and then, you have the railroad tracks and situations that are a little bit different from the other campuses, to make sure that the second command knows what to do in case of a principal attending a conference or whatever. Yes. Any other questions for Chief Foss? Okay, you want to read the recommendation, please? For the recommendation, I'll entertain a motion for approval. Mr. Alindo made a motion, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Okay. The time is 43 p.m. We're going to go into closed session pursuant to policy 551.074 and 551.071 of the Texas Education Code. If any item needs to be approved, it will be approved upon reconvening into open session. We are now in closed session. Okay, the time is 8:57 p.m. We're reconvening into open session. No action was taken in executive. First item we have is consideration to approve a purchase order. This is F8. We have tabled it. Consideration to approve a purchase order for $25,000 to Smart Talks in the amount not to exceed $85,550. Funding source, general funds, student services for student drug testing services during the 2025-2026 school year. Frenchie McCray.
Am I reading the recommendation? It is recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the renewal of Smart Talks Hybrid Drug Testing Management Program and complete a purchase over $25,000 in the amount of $85,550 for student drug testing services during the 2025-2026 school year.
So a motion by Mr. Arlindo, seconded by Mrs. Webb. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Go on to the next item. Item 18A, consideration to approve personnel report to include the following: new hires, district vacancies, retirements, resignations. Amy Childress.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. It is the recommendation that the Board of Trustees approve the resignations, retirements, and vacancies as discussed in closed session and the following new personnel: Elsa Gonzalez for special education teacher life skills at Ceniza Hills Elementary.
With the recommendation, is there a motion for approval? Motion made by Mrs. Webb, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item B, consideration to approve the position of 21st Century Program Site Coordinator for Dr. Fermin Calderon Elementary. Amy Childress.
It is the recommendation that the Board of Trustees approve Deanna Diaz for Program Site Coordinator ACE at Dr. Fermin Calderon Elementary.
For the recommendation, there a motion for approval? Motion made by Mr. Overfeld, seconded by Diego Almaraz. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item C, consideration to approve the position of 21st Century Program Site Coordinator for Ruben Chavira Elementary School. Amy Childress.
It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Trustees approve Miranda Graves for Program Site Coordinator ACE at Ruben Chavita Elementary.
For the recommendation, is there a motion for approval? Motion made by Mr. Galindo, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Item B, consideration to approve the position of counselor for San Felipe Memorial Middle School. Amy Childress.
It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Trustees approve Alejandra Durango for counselor at San Felipe Memorial Middle School.
For the recommendation, is there a motion? Mr. Orfeld, seconded by Mrs. Webb. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Item F, consideration to approve the position of librarian for Ceniza Hills Elementary. Amy Childress.
It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Trustees approve Yvette Rodriguez for librarian at Ceniza Hills Elementary.
For the recommendation, motion made by Becky Chavez, seconded by Diego Almaraz. All those in favor? Motion carries. Item G, consideration to approve the position of art facilitator for Special Education Department. Amy Childress.
It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Trustees approve Gisela Dominguez for art facilitator with the Special Education Department.
For the recommendation, motion made by Mr. Almaraz, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor?
Thank you.
Motion carries. Item H, discussion possible action for salary adjustments.
I believe we skipped one.
Yes.
The assistant principal. No, D.
assistant principal, sir.
Assistant Principal D.
I believe.
How did I miss that one? Because I had two Ruben Chavitas? Yes.
Yes.
Consideration to approve the position of Assistant Principal for Ruben Chavita Elementary.
It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Trustees approve Jessica Magdaleno for assistant principal at Ruben Chavita Elementary.
For the recommendation, motion made by Mr. Galindo, seconded by Mrs. Webb. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Go on to salary adjustments, discussion, possible action for salary adjustments. Amy Childress.
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the salary adjustments as discussed in closed session.
For the recommendation, motion made by Mr. Diego Almaraz, second to the motion, Becky Chavez. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item I, consideration to approve the submission of TEA applications for certification waivers. Amy Childress.
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the submission of TEA applications for certification waivers as discussed in closed session.
For the recommendation, I'll entertain a motion for approval. Motion made by Mr. Almaraz. Second to the motion, Mr. Emilio Galindo. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item J, possible action to approve mediated resolution proposal in federal civil case number 2.22 EV 0054 AM CW Sandra Hernandez.
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the mediated resolution proposal as discussed in closed session.
For the recommendation, is there a motion for approval? Mr. Orfeld, second by Becky Chavez. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, sir.
There being no other items on the agenda, is there a motion for adjournment? Motion made by Amy Haynes, seconded by Mr. Orfeld. All those in favor? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you. Good night, everyone.